Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, Kim Seltzer, a dating and makeover expert, where I will help you build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. So recently, I was working with one of my clients. She's 52, divorced, super smart, and had been telling herself the same story I hear over and over and over again. It almost feels like a broken record. She said, today, dating is a mess. Men don't commit. They're all narcissists. Everything is online. Nobody's meeting in person. Nobody knows what they want. I'm just about to give up. Does this sound familiar? And here's the twist. So she ends up hiring me. And after a few weeks of doing what I call data dating and being more intentional and focused when on dates, she started noticing something kind of surprising. She came back and she told me, Kimmy, men are actually trying. They're actually noticing me. They're flirting. They're asking deeper questions. And I'm meeting more people in a week than I ever did in the last year. Now, did I give her a magic wand? Well, sort of. Um, I empowered her to make it happen. And I start with this story because all of you have the power to make this happen. It just takes a little bit of a shift in your mindset, your approach, and your perspective. And here's the thing, she never really dated before, just for the sake of dating. She was in one relationship. Before that, maybe she dated one or two guys. And when she was younger, she dated in order to find that guy that she would have a life with, settle down with, have kids, the picket fence. But now at 52, that isn't the case yet. She's going out there vetting for her next boyfriend as if she was in her 20s. So part of my intentional dating and the data dating that I did with her was to really date herself just for the sake of dating, like learning what she liked, learning what she didn't like, learning about herself and the habits that she had created over time that actually attracted the unhealthy relationship that she was in, so that in the future she could attract what she wanted. Now, here's the thing. It wasn't that she had to go after different guys, and it wasn't that there were no guys left who were the type that she was looking for. She had to change her habits in order to attract something different. And this is really like, I want you to hear this as a state of empowerment, not as a state of blame, because you have the power to change it all. And look, I mean, dating is changing. Okay. There's no doubt about it, but not in the doom and gloom way we hear about on social media or in the world. It's shifting in a way, and I truly believe this, that actually gives people, especially if you're dating later in life, an advantage. And, you know, this woman I just talked about, it wasn't that she was magically lucky, right? Like she didn't have this magic wand. She was just aligning with a new wave of dating energy that is especially in focus in 2026. Now, what's so funny is that I have been teaching this for years. So I guess I was ahead of my time. Really, I was just my own hot mess, and I had to learn along the way. So I like to teach and preach what I learned, through my journey. But there is definitely, as we head into the new year, we're going to talk about the trends. There is a wave that values presence. There's a wave that values emotional availability and authenticity. There's a wave that values connection over perfection. And yes, there's a wave where fun is finally in focus, and it's officially the new sexy. So today I want to break it all down for you. What's in, what's out, what's real, what's noise, what are the predictions that I'm going to be making for the year ahead based on what I'm seeing at my retreats, my workshop, when I'm doing these dating real talk segments, which is my new live show, and behind the scenes with clients, just like the woman that I spoke about, and also obviously research that I have been doing as we head into the new year. So today I'm going to break down the new wave of dating trends emerging as we head into 2026. what's fading, what's trending, and what skills today's daters actually need to thrive in this next chapter. So, here is the truth bomb. You don't need to work harder at dating. It's not about that. You just need to understand the new landscape and learn the dating skills that will change the way that you meet people in this era. And you might be thinking, well, Kimmy, like why does this matter? Why do we even care about trends? I'm not really the trendy type or the one that listens to pop culture. Dating is dating, right? Like, isn't it the same as it was? But here's the thing. Dating trends aren't fashion trends, which I love my fashion trends. But we're talking about behavior trends. They reveal how people are communicating, connecting, choosing partners, setting boundaries, showing up emotionally, and expressing desire. And it's really important to know this because most people date based on their habits, like I said, and they use, the same thing that they know. Like maybe you've been using the same apps or your same photos. Like, have you changed your photos in the last year or two? And if not, you got to do it. It'll change the algorithms. And you're probably doing the same approach that you did a year ago. And guess what? You also have the same fears. But when you understand what is shifting, you can actually adapt. So, yeah, like maybe you want to update your profile to what people look for now. You want to focus on your in real life skills instead of hiding online. Maybe you need to lean into fun and femininity if you're a woman, or showing up in your more emotional side as a man, because that's what creates the chemistry. And for God's sakes, drop the perfectionist, or especially if you're in like perfection paralysis, because the culture is craving authenticity. It's craving taking action, especially now that we're all getting so busy and sitting in front of the computers and life is going a mile a minute. So, how can you slow down to speed up your love life? I'll say that again. How can you slow down to speed up your love life? Now, that sounds almost counterintuitive, but I will explain that. Trends give you permission to date smarter, not harder. And if you've been feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or invisible, it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because maybe you are vetting so hard and you are numbing out on the apps and you're trying to look for your next boyfriend or girlfriend that you're not slowing down to really enjoy what is. Slowing down to just make that connection with the person who is in front of you instead of figuring out if that person is right for you or wrong for you. That's something that we have all gotten away from since life has sped up. We are not slowing down to really figure out who's right for us. And the rules have shifted, and no one has handed anybody a new playbook, right? That's why I'm creating this podcast. So I hope you take this to heart and really start thinking about the things that you can shift right now. And once you have that understanding, it's going to build your confidence overall. Knowledge reduces anxiety, and clarity boosts confidence. And then confidence creates that connection. I mean, this is literally the heart of the Charisma Quotient and my tagline that I say all the time on this podcast. So if you don't understand the shifts, you're essentially navigating the dating world with the last year's roadmap. And today it's really about being strategic. That's why I call myself a dating strategist more than a coach, more than a therapist these days, because I think you just need new strategies to break your habits. You have to be more emotionally aware. You have to be more socially intelligent, and you have to market yourself so that you get more opportunities to meet people with your style, your body language, your energy. All of this matters. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably saying, Kimmy, dating trends really, like, you're preaching to the choir. I can barely keep up with these apps, let alone life. And now I have to keep up with all these new rules and trends too. Or maybe you're thinking, I'm too old for this. I don't want to reinvent myself every year just to date. Why can't, like, my boyfriend just show up on the white horse? Or why can't my girlfriend just walk through the door right now? And some of you, my analytical thinkers out there, I hear you, isn't dating supposed to be universal? Aren't we all just looking for a connection? And what's the end game? Right? And yes, absolutely. The desire for connection doesn't change, but how people seek connection does. How people communicate does change, and what people expect definitely changes. And here's the good news. You don't have to become a different person. I am not telling you to, change who you are. You just have to understand the rules of the landscape you're playing in. And this isn't about chasing trends or molding yourself into something that's unnatural. It's just a fact. It's just knowing the facts, and it's getting out of your own way. It's leveraging what already is attractive about you and showing up with confidence in today's dating landscape and letting connection feel easier instead of heavier or harder. So when I talk about trends, I'm not asking you to turn into something that you're not. And I'm sure you're thinking, well, oh, God, I don't want to learn something new. I know, I get it. It's exhausting because look, we are all confident in what we know. We usually are not confident in things that we don't know. So it feels hard, it feels laborious. But change doesn't happen if we stay the same. And in that, like, kind of comfort zone, we have to do something that maybe feels uncomfortable or heavy, or there is a learning curve. And that's when things start shifting. So it's not about you being younger, hotter, trendier, or more perfect. It's not about chasing trends. It's about aligning with your opportunities they create. And that's when dating, I find, and even like, I just was talking to a client the other day, and she's like, this is such an easier way of being overall as a human being. And she was saying, my conversations flow and chemistry just builds naturally. I'm not thinking so much anymore. And I'm actually okay being seen. And, being in my feminine is actually okay. And you attract higher quality partners when you do all of these things. And in efforts of not wasting time by slowing down, you will not waste time anymore. And you'll get to really see who shows up for you and see who's available to you. So it isn't more work. This is a release from doing things the hard way. Because, as I said, you don't need to work harder at dating. You just need to understand the new landscape and learn dating skills, especially if you've never dated before, because that's going to change the way that you meet people. So let's get into it. Enough preaching. Well, you know me, I'm very passionate about this stuff. And I had, again, to learn the hard way. So I am so determined to get as much information out there to all of you because I didn't have this when I was going through it. So really just absorb what I'm saying. And even in the trends that I'm about to list, what's out and what's in, you can maybe just pick one thing that you're going to try in the new year. Now's the time to create those New Year's resolutions when it comes to your dating life. So just consider this your 2026 dating forecast. And trust me, some of these might surprise you, and some of them may even feel like a relief, and some will probably call you out just a tad in the whole best way. Okay, so here is what's out. Okay. Um, and some of this is research based. Some of this is just what I'm seeing all the time as I'm working with you all. And some of it is just, kind of a summary, right? And it's just kind of a general list. Well, the first thing, and I don't think this is going to be a surprise to anybody, is that endless swiping and app fatigue. Like, we are all done living inside the apps. People are exhausted by the algorithm roulette and gamified matching. The swipe till you die culture is definitely out. Real interaction, real energy, and real connection are in. Thank God. Again, I've been teaching this stuff forever. I've been waiting for all of this to end. Number two, situationships and ambiguous whatever this is zones. Like, this is totally going out. Look, the cultural patience for ambiguity, or half relationships, like you have, half in, half out. It is run out. Like, people are tired about the limbo or we're just like hanging out, people want clarity. It's called clear coding, and I'm going to talk about that in a bit, but it's just naming what you're looking for, and that's, becoming more the norm. Now, what I want to be clear about this one is I'm all about situationships as long as it's clear. I think there's beauty in dating in this day and age where, especially if you're dating later in life, you can literally have anything you want and you get to call out whatever you want. But you have to contract with each other, whoever you are dating, whoever you are like interested in. The ambiguity is what is driving people crazy. It's like, oh, we're just going to kind of see where it goes. And no one's like really talking about what it is. It's defining, hey, this is a situationship. Are you okay with that? And then you get to define what your situationship is. So that's the way I look at it. Maybe the research out there is not like intending it that way, but I see value in it. Again, it's just being clear with each other and clear with yourself, most importantly. Okay, the other thing that's kind of going out is ghosting. Yay, finally. Ghosting is losing kind of this social acceptability, and people know it's immature. And so people just aren't dealing with it. I think before when people ghosted, everyone would take it to heart and be mad at that person or feel like there's something wrong with them. Now, I think people are so numbed out to it. If anybody is ghosting anybody, people are just not giving the time of day to those people. Whereas before they were kind of taking it in and being, oh my God, what's wrong with me? And now they're saying, oh my gosh, I dodged a bullet. Thank goodness. So I'm glad that is leaving the building. All right. Number 4 is the over curated and perfect online personas. So yes, the filtered faces and the AI enhanced glamour shots and the perfect bios that feel more like a LinkedIn bio than dating, or people who have other people write it. Well, now we have ChatGPT writing online stuff, you know, be careful of that. We all have caught on to the fact that we know you used AI to write your profile. And by the way, I'm going to add one in the mix because I dealt with this with a client. Do not use AI to text each other. We know the AI speak, right? And that feels so inauthentic. It feels so robotic. Even when you tell it to be emotional, it still feels fake. And not only that, you are losing social skills by relying on a bot to connect with someone. So then when you go out on dates, I think everybody's getting that social atrophy and no one knows how to relate to one another. Don't do it. I remember there was a guy and he was texting this girl. Now, he didn't tell me he was using chat. And he's like, okay, I think I'm getting it. So, what do you think of this exchange? And I'm looking at it. And then he's like, I'm not sure why the woman didn't text me back. I thought it was going really well. And I'm reading it and I'm like, oh my God, this is ChatGPT. I said, did you use ChatGPT? And he's like, guilty as charged. But I tweaked it. I said, oh my gosh. I'm almost positive that's why she, ghosted or did the slow fade because she probably wasn't even sure if you were real. Like it just didn't even sound like him. And he had a great personality. So part of it was that he didn't trust himself to be flirty and fun. And he relied on the AI to make him that way. So y'all don't do that. I really want, especially in this day and age when it's so tempting, really, call me, like let me guide you and help you so that you can, make it your own. Again, it's being authentic. It's not changing who you are. It's just learning the skills so that people can get to know who you are. Okay? All right, really important. Oh, and I'll just mention about the filtered faces and glamour. I mean, a soft filter, I think everybody does that, especially if you have like professional pictures done. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's the AI and overly done filters that I think people are just over and people can tell that it's not, the natural picture. All right, number five, another thing that's going out is a hyper independence and pretending you just don't care. It's like, oh, I'm just fine being alone. I don't need anyone armor. um, or just playing it cool, or, I think people are now understanding that it's a defense mechanism. And when you're like casual Kathy, or, casual Rob, or whoever you are, people sniff that out. And either it's coming across as, like distant, emotionally unavailable. Now, everybody has caught on to what attachment styles are. It's almost pop culture. When I was going through therapy school and then practicing as a therapist, nobody knew what attachment styles were. And now, because of many books and TikToks and everything out there, people are almost over relying on that. But then, if you see somebody who's like playing it too cool, they're like, oh, that person is, the detached, style, or unavailable. And then like people are over diagnosing. So be careful that you're not doing that, because you might not be the avoidant person. You might just have behaviors that look that way, and that can really be a turnoff. All right, number six is the transactional dating. I'm really happy about this. Like the trend of dating for perks, like free meals, free experiences, free entertainment, it's losing its appeal and eroding trust. So people are craving, again, the meaningful investment, not the transactional encounter. Number seven is dating apps as your only strategy. Thank God. So, as you know, if you've been following me, I always say that your dating portfolio should look like your financial portfolio. You need to diversify as much as possible in order to get results. It's never a good idea to put all your eggs in one basket, such as the dating apps. And obviously, during COVID and the pandemic, that's all we had. So people got over dependent on the apps. Well, I think it's flipped upside down. And now everybody wants to, go out and date and meet people organically. But now no one knows where to go, what to do, and how to be. So this is exactly what I teach. I love putting together dating plans, just like business plans, so that you have a diversified way of meeting people. It's a numbers game, y'all. The apps aren't going away, and I still believe in them, but don't rely on them solely. Like that's what's becoming outdated. And because people are getting off the apps, there's not as many people on the apps, right? So meeting in real life definitely is the way to go. And so this is great news, especially for the mature daters or later daters, because this is going back to what we know. It's just the world looks different. So that's where it gets hard to navigate. So, um, all right, so that is what's coming out. Now I want to go over what is coming in. So before I get into this, some of this is what I am predicting. These are my Kimmy predictions. And a lot of it's rooted in just like patterns I've seen with thousands of singles that I've been, dealing with this past year, and what's happening inside my retreats and workshops, transformations I witness, shifts that I see in the scenes, overall. Um, but some of it's also research based. So I'm going to list them, and I want you to be really aware of them. And actually, there's some really exciting things that you can try right away. So, as I was saying before, the very first one is it is an IRL dating renaissance. This is my biggest prediction, and it's already happening. I mean, people want connection, the banter, the real conversation, people in the flesh. They want to see and feel and touch and connect. The apps have become like more the supporting act, not the main stage. And this is why I keep doing my, dating retreats, so that people like learn how to connect in the wild again. And this is really, really important. So I'm so happy it's finally like a fad right now. And I hope it's not just a trend that goes away. I really hope that we gain speed with this, because another prediction of mine is AI gets more popular. I think the need for community and the human touch is going to get greater because while AI and technology has a way of connecting with more people, we're becoming more fragmented and isolated at the same time because we can get information so fast, because we're just sitting at home alone and we're not having, those like real life types of interactions. People are just craving it. By the way, I forgot to even mention this. My next retreat is in Puerto Rico, y'all. So if you're interested, it's going to be in May. Just get a hold of me. I can't believe it, but I'm half full already. I'm just having conversations with people. Again, go to my website and just sign up for a call. We'll chat about it. KimmySeltzer.com if you don't know what that is. Okay. So that was the first one. The second one that and I mentioned this before, it's called clear coding. It's upfront intention. Singles are tired of guessing. They want transparency. They want to know just where you're at. If you're dating casually, then own that. If you're looking for a relationship, cool, but don't like scare people off with that in the first question. Um, people are wanting that emotional availability, and it's okay to just kind of say that out loud. What I am going to put as almost like a sidebar is that be careful of hardballing with this. So while upfront intentions are something that is seen as positive, don't overdo it. I'm seeing a lot of you just hardballing people and vetting people so hard and showing up on dates. What are you looking for in a relationship? That is not sexy. That is not flirty. And that is not fun. And nobody really can answer that. First just get to know someone. It's okay to say, this is where I'm at, but let's just get to know someone. Just let's get to know each other as people. That is what I want for all of you. And so I'm throwing that in the mix. All right. The third thing is we're seeing is that emotional honesty and availability. That is the new sexy. Like being emotionally available, now that it's a buzzword, is just super cool. It's huge. I mean, people want consistency, vulnerability, communication, emotional intelligence, and men are showing up this way too, which I absolutely love, and women are craving. So, this is the era of real grown up connection. I love that. Um, and then I'm throwing this one in the mix. I think fun is the new sexy. This is very me. And it's the number one trait daters now list as attractive. That is research based. I can't tell you how many times I get on a free call, and a lot of you are signing up for a free call from this podcast. Again, you all are invited to hop on a private call with me. It is me. It's not a robot. It's not an assistant. It is me. And I always ask that question about what people are looking for. And I would say 95% of you are looking for fun. You're like, I just want to have fun. I know that sounds very simple, yet it's very complex in this day and age. It's not about being perfect or polished or accomplished. Playfulness, flirty energy, spontaneity, lightness. Like, this is what your kind of new mantra should be heading into 2026. Okay. The next prediction is, and it's kind of like a spinoff of the vulnerability and emotional openness is authenticity. We've been hearing that a lot. Actually, my next workshop is going to be about authentic dating. That is slotted for January. So you'll definitely want to go online and check that out if you're interested. But it's just being real. Like it's the photos we talked about. It's expressing your feelings. It's the human moments, not worrying about what you say or what other people think. It's about you just showing up as you and going after what you want. People are done with polished profiles and curated lines and all of that stuff. You know, you want to feel alive, not optimized. That's basically what's going on. Okay. The sixth prediction is micromances, I'm calling it, and meaningful small moments. So instead of grand gestures, daters are just valuing shared playlists, inside jokes, check ins, small rituals, mini experiences. That's where I'm calling it the micromances instead of these like long romantic dinners. How about just a mini experience that feels really connected and fun? And that can be built through micro moments. It doesn't have to be this massive effort. But I love that people are valuing that more because that really, those small little wins that you get from people and hits add up to the bigger connection overall. Number 7, social dating communities and micro networks. I'm doing like micro and macro and all that. So social, like, this is a major cultural shift, I believe. People want niche social clubs, they want curated event communities. They're looking for travel based dating. That's why I do these dating retreats in different locations, activity driven meetups, because people are looking for gamified ways of connecting in real life because a lot of people feel like they can't do that in the wild organically. So, having some sort of social community gives people, that purpose and things to talk about. And that's exactly what creates, just connection and interpersonal communication because you're doing something collectively as a group. So I love that. I'm looking for ways to do more flirt workshops in 2026. So stay tuned for that. And then finally, my prediction is chemistry. I really hope is getting seen as a skill. It's not just woo woo or fate. My prediction is that 2026, because of all the things I just said, is the year that people realize chemistry can be created through all the skills that I teach, like body language, flirting, presence, style, emotional attunement. It's my charisma quotient formula, combining style, emotional, and social IQ to really create that magnetic energy. And it's more holistic. It's not just the physical and sexual attraction. In fact, a lot of you that I'm talking to are so done with the tornado type of interactions where you get swept off your feet and there's this like sexual, excitement in the beginning, but then as fast as it comes in, it leaves, right? So I want all of you to slow down and pay attention to the different aspects of chemistry, especially when it comes to emotional chemistry. And then the final one is the AI assisted dating. But here's the thing. Yes, we can't ignore AI. As I was saying before, there's certain things I just don't believe you should use it for, but you can help enhance skills if it's something that you're using to learn, not replace you, but to learn. So, I mean, there are going to be AI dating apps that's already happening and being talked about. There are AI assisted dating tools that will perfect your profile and texting. That is already there. What I'm saying is be smart about it and make it your own because human confidence still lives. And I don't want the AI to deplete your confidence and then you're relying on that and then in the real world when you're trying to connect with someone the skills aren't there. So it's a real important distinction, but it is something that you have to pay attention to and start learning about. Okay, so now is the portion where I am going to read an email from one of the listeners, and it's so perfect for what we're talking about. And this is from a woman. She's 57. She says, I've been listening to your podcast for a while now, and I finally got the courage to write in because I'm feeling really stuck. I'm 57, divorced for 8 years, and honestly, dating feels like it's happening on a different planet right now. I don't know the rules anymore, if there are any. Everything I hear about dating today sounds like a foreign language, like apps, swiping, ghosting, all these things. I feel like I missed the memo on all of it. The last time I dated, people met through friends, at parties, at work, or just out in the world. I've only had 2 relationships in my life. I go places And now everyone is staring at their phones. And I end up feeling like I'm doing something wrong. I keep hearing you talk about things like emotional availability, receiving energy, flirting, but I don't know how any of that applies to me. It feels like dating has become complicated and crowded and noisy, and I don't know where a woman my age fits into it all. I want companionship. I want fun again. I want to flirt and feel feminine, but I don't know where to meet people if the apps aren't working. And honestly, I'm scared that everyone my age is already partnered up or that there's just no one left. Oh gosh. Okay, so first of all, she didn't give me her name, so I don't know who you are, but if you're listening, um thank you for writing in. You have no idea how many people just in who are dating later in life, not just your age, feel the exact same way, but are too embarrassed or overwhelmed to say it out loud. So the fact that you did, it tells me that not only are you courageous and more self aware, but you're wanting something different. So dating after 50 is not something anyone trained you for, especially if you've never dated. You were raised in a generation where you met people through a circle, your community, your job. So, of course, the modern world is going to be really foreign. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you for feeling lost. And let me tell you something that you clearly haven't been told yet. You're not behind, you're not too late, and you absolutely belong in today's world and deserve love. And 2026 is actually shaping up to be your moment. Like, I think later daters, I think this is like trending right now. Look at all the shows that are popped up. So let's break down what's really going on here because I think it's really common. I think that you're experiencing a dating skill gap. It's not a confidence problem. You're trying to date with a 1990s skill set in a 2026 landscape. It's like showing up with a flip phone in an iPhone world. It's not your fault. You just need a little bit of an update and a reboot. And another thing I'm noticing is that you're interpreting modern behaviors as a personal rejection, like the ghosting. Remember, we were talking about before. When conversations fizzle or someone drifts away, it seems like you feel like you did something wrong. What actually is happening is you're just bumping into new dating behaviors. And so it's hard to do when you don't have dating experience. You haven't developed the thick skin yet, and you don't have a roadmap with it all. Um, and I also get that you're craving real life connection, but you don't know how to create it. And this is the number one theme for daters who are over 50. Like you don't want to live on the apps, but you do need practice flirting. You do need practice having conversations. And there's a difference between being friendly and flirty. And yes, that means going in the wild and practicing that. And the final thing I'm hearing, and this is a big problem, and until this shifts, it's going to continue to be hard for you. You have a scarcity mindset. I think you're starting to believe that there are no good men out there because simply you haven't been exposed to the environments where maybe men are. And it's not the men who are the problem. It's the way that maybe you're attacking things and looking at things. So it's not really the problem that the men, it's more you need to have some shifts to break some habits to see something different. Okay. So, how do you do that? And this is going to be for you who wrote in, but also obviously you listening. And if you're feeling like you're in the same boat, this is where I would start. Get out of the house once a week with interactions. Not to meet the one, not to land a date, just practice either being seen, making eye contact, using your social muscle. Just get out of the house, and go places where you feel comfortable, whether it's a coffee shop, a cooking class, a social club, wine bar, like wherever you feel like it's you, it's going to be more comfortable doing these things. And remember what I said in the beginning? The other thing that I want you to do is slow down. Just slow down everything. Stop trying to speed up time to look for your next boyfriend and just walk in a room. Just walk in a room, look around, just who's in that room. Walk slower. Notice who's noticing you. Your energy becomes more approachable, more inviting when you are more present. And the other piece of advice, I'm going to say this, I don't know what you're wearing when you go out, but at least wear one piece that makes you feel sexy and magnetic. It could be red lipstick, it could be a fitted jacket, a dress, anything that feels good on your body. Men, that goes for you too. Don't go out in your oversized sweats and football jerseys. Be intentional. Put on something that the opposite sex might find attractive. And if you don't know what that is, get a hold of me. I do virtual makeovers. We can do this in 1 hour. It's super easy. Okay. And I would say the other thing is I would recommend putting the apps on the back burner right now. Like really just focus on going out, having micro interactions and it could be just a compliment, a question, a comment, um, just something that moves the needle in your social life. Do some sort of guided experience. Like I was saying before, it could be a class, it could be, a speed dating event, it could be pick a friend. I don't know if you've heard of those are popping up all over, just something. Because at the end of the day, you don't need to work harder at dating. You just need to understand the new landscape and learn dating skills. And that's going to change the way you meet people. All right. Well, I hope you found this episode informative, inspiring, and provide you with like just so much motivation going into the new year. We're all making New Year resolutions. Remember, don't make these big, lofty goals. Start with something that's micro, that's manageable, that's measurable. If it's eye contact, do that. If it's going to a social event once a week, do that. That is what's going to build your confidence overall and get you moving. All right. Thanks for joining me today, as always. This has been the Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, of course, Kimmy Seltzer. And remember, you can build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. And if you want to know more, like all the stuff that I was talking about before, whether it's my workshops, the retreat in Puerto Rico, or just to chat with me, go to kimmyseltzer.com, book a call with me. We can talk about all of those things. I always have my link in the show notes as well. And if you've been listening to this episode, I have a treat for you because if you're thinking, okay, I want to start practicing these skills, I want to feel more confident, more open, more flirty, more visible, but you don't know where to start, I have totally got you. I created a cute little thing and it's free. It's a 12-day dating holiday challenge. So for 12 days, I guide you step by step, and you get an email in your inbox every day with fun, gamified prompts. It's like a confidence booster, a challenge that you have to make, throughout your day. Just little daily sparks that completely change the way you show up in the real world. So, this is the perfect way to gamify things to end the year and really set intentions as we go into the new year with a new energy that attracts the right people naturally. So, whether you're just getting back out there, dating after 50, feeling overwhelmed by modern dating, like whatever it is, this challenge is for you. It doesn't matter how old you are or where you are at. Just go to kimmyseltzer.com/now, kimmyseltzer.com/now, and you'll see where you can join the 12-day dating holiday challenge. All right. Everyone have a great holiday. Happy New Year. And remember, working on you is working on your dating life. That's all for now.